So there's something that most of you, especially if you're still in your 20s, are going to do when you get to your second job after having a couple of years in your first job. And I'm totally recommending that you don't do this. And one of the tendencies that most people, including myself, when I was in my early 20s have, after you've gone from your first job to your second job and you've learned a couple of things, you're going to start to come across as a little bit too sure of yourself, a little bit too cocky, and you're going to see, for example, a process that you're now responsible for, and you're going to go to your managers and you're going to say, hey, how come we do it like this? In such and such place, when I was there, we used to do it like, and then you're going to kind of go on and on and on. So my first piece of advice is don't do that.
There are two certainties in life. One, don't do that.
And the reason why you don't want to do that is because, once again, you're going to come across as a smart aleck. Nobody likes a smart aleck. But the second and more important reason is when you basically come across like that, you haven't developed that ability yet to understand that you don't know all of the facts. Both of these things are not good. And what you want to do instead is you want to start this by asking questions. You want to stay curious and you want to say to yourself first, and then go to your managers and say, hey, I noticed we do this particular process in whatever way we do it. And, why do we do it this way? What are the reasons? Can you let me know? And then basically start to kind of go from there and look at things from an overall standpoint and say, all right, fine, I understand, and I'm still going to move forward with recommending the way I do it, but I'm going to wait a little while, and I'm also now more sensitive to a couple of things that I didn't really know before. Some of those things might be what? Well, your predecessor, whether they've moved on to another job in the company or whether they've left the company and gone somewhere else, maybe their hands were tied. Maybe they didn't have enough resources. And that's why it's sort of done in this kind of, manual or convoluted way. Maybe, for example, there is some type of system where your process has to feed information into an overall system that other divisions, other departments use. And maybe due to limitations of that system, there's only one way that things can be done. And therefore, unfortunately, on your end, the process has to be kind of manual and whatever the case might be from that standpoint. So all of these things are things that are totally legit and are possible. And when you go about it by first understanding and recognizing what you don't know, sometimes knowing that you don't know all of the facts is one of the best ways in which you can build a really good reputation and you could be more successful, is really the better path. And you, by the way, might be completely right in terms of your recommendation of how to do something better from a process standpoint. But for now, that's not the point. For now, before you shoot your mouth off, which I've done many times, anything I ever share here with you, it's because I've unfortunately generally learned the hard way. Before you shoot your mouth off, what you want to first understand is, why is this set up the way it is? And again, you could be totally right, but first understand what the context is, what the background is, then begin to put together how you would do it, and then go about either asking more questions or making a proposal to your managers that will come across as you being someone who's a lot more mature, as someone who is being a lot more professional, someone who really has a lot of great potential within them. So now you know a better way of going about recommending process changes, and this approach will get you a lot further, a lot faster. So send me your comments and questions, and each week you'll get a chance to win a copy of my book. And I'll answer your comments and questions during the QA video for that week.